visiting my wife's family. Her brother is getting married.
Yes.
And when he's getting married, I am going to be the ring bearer, and I will be wearing a bear costume.
It's one of those weddings, is it?
Yeah, I suppose so. So,
Oh.
so we went to Johnny Brock's dungeon to pick up the bear costume. Jennifer couldn't find her keys, so I gave her my keys. And we drove to Johnny Brock's, and this is where things diverge. Jennifer had her keys. Her keys were with us. They were in the back seat. Her recollection is that she then started using her keys and gave me my keys back. As far as I can remember, I didn't receive the keys back. Regardless, my keys are now missing. And so...
And this is like your house keys, your car keys.
My house key and my car key.
Yeah.
So 3 keys. Front door, back door, and car key. And so that's all I'm thinking about now. And because of this weird split, I mean, we're both invested in me finding my keys, but where they are, how to find them is a mystery. Because I've checked where I normally would have put the keys had I received them, and they aren't there. She's checking where she would have put the keys if she had them.
Are they on the dog?
They're not on the dog.
Well, you know, Apple would be more than happy to sell you a little bit of technology that helps with this problem.
Yeah. Well, the problem, I guess not the problem, but there is a small problem in that I lose too many things that putting everything on the things that I might lose would be a bridge too far. The other thing is also that these are the keys to Jennifer's car, and one thing that Jennifer doesn't like is a lot of things hanging off of the keychain for her car.
Yeah.
Because it can mess with the starter.
The ignition cylinder.
Exactly, and I hardly ever drive it.
Technically, the starter is a different part of the car. But no,
that's and starter is my word, not hers.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sure that she knows the difference.
Yeah, that's actually a good habit to fall into, is to not have a lot of keys dangling on your car keys.
Yep. So anyway, so that's all I can think about is where are those keys. That's issue number 1. Issue number 2. I am also thinking about the bear mask that I have. The better bear mask is too light for the bear suit that I got. It does not look good. The two do not look good together.
They did not come as a set?
They did not come as a set, no. So I will be the bear suit. Just for a little peek behind the curtain, is a Bigfoot suit that is the same color as the bear paws and bear feet that I got. But the mask, so bear paws, bear feet, purchased those and the bear mask all together, and they were all the right color. Then I got a different bear mask because it was far superior to the bear mask that I got when I got the paws and the feet, but it was the wrong color. And so when I went to get the bear suit, I was like, okay, whatever color it is, if it matches the bear mask, then I'll just, figure out what to do about the paws and feet. And if it matches the paws and feet, then I'll figure out what to do about the mask. Match the paws and feet. Therefore, I have dye, and I'm going to dye the mask. And so I'm thinking about that, about dyeing the mask, how that's going to go.
Yeah.
And then, and this is something I'm a little bit hesitant to discuss, but I will discuss it, especially because I know that he doesn't listen to the podcast. There is a guy who, up until this point, I would call a friend. now I am unsure. It's one of those situations where you're friends with a couple, you're better friends with one half of the couple, and then something happens where you reevaluate where you're at, and you're like, well, I can't cut off all contact with this person because I'm friends with their other half of this couple, and they're still there. So I will see this person at some point in time if I ever see the person I'm better friends with again, right?
Okay.
So you kind of tread lightly, right? You don't
Right.
you don't blow it up or anything like that. So um just sitting around minding my own business, and I got a text from this person. They had seen my the documentary that I'm interviewed in called A Glitch in the Matrix, which you're familiar with, and they kept asking me how much I got paid.
Okay.
Or they didn't keep asking. I mean, they asked twice.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not comfortable with this, as you know, Ben. My personal finances, my personal, like, what I do for a job, there are things that I keep private.
Indeed.
Same way, I was like, I'm not comfortable with this. And this person started going off on how bad the film was, and that they wanted to know how much I had gotten paid for it.
Is this somebody I
And
know?
no, this is a different. Well, actually, no, I don't think you've ever met them.
Okay.
I don't even
But
think that you met their partner
somebody,
who
but they're from the Northwest area. They're not like a Midwest family.
well, they see, we're getting
Let's
to
narrow it down. Okay,
they
do they live in
there
Ballard? Do they live in Capitol
there
Hill?
there was a chance that you might have met them when they lived in the Northwest,
Okay.
but I knew them before they moved to the Northwest.
Ah.
One of those, and not the one that you're thinking about either.
Well, I know one, but this is
Yeah,
not what they would sound like.
yeah, exactly. And so yeah, it was just kind of weird, and I was like, hey, let's not talk about this anymore, and I ended that. So I've gotten pretty far past it. I thought I would discuss it with you just to say the movie wasn't bad, right? It's not a quote unquote disaster.
No.
No,
No.
absolutely not. So I thought that was kind of overstepping the bounds of, it's one of those things of, okay, we know each other. We've been on good terms. This part, not a conversation I want to have. No thanks.
Yeah.
No
Well, I
thanks.
mean, yeah. I don't know why there's this whole stigma around money.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. Maybe they were like, you whatever you were paid, you should have been paid more, or because you're sort of
Yeah,
like
this is
central to the film.
I'll get a little bit more into it. They were of the opinion that my mental illness was being exploited by the filmmaker.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
To which, of course, first I'm like, hey, wait a second. Now I know that I'm mentally ill in some ways, maybe, but no, I knew what I was doing. I
yeah,
was aware of the thing. And the fact is, I mean, here's, as you know, Ben, you are also an actor. You choose projects for many different reasons.
yeah.
And most often, at least in the fringe theater community that we're in, getting paid is not number one on the list.
It
So
doesn't even crack the top 10.
yeah, and also documentary films are not, I mean, people might get stipends or considerations or something to that effect, but I cannot imagine that a person in a documentary would get paid as much as someone in a feature film
No, yeah.
or anything like that. So anyway, so
You're right
I'm
though.
thinking about,
It wasn't
oh
really an exploitative thing. It's not like, you were in some sort of asylum and the film crew came in and
Right. I do not need to be protected in that manner.
yeah.
Um, and then finally, I am, I'm doing this vacation thing. I am, doing work stuff in anticipation of doing the vacation thing. And for those not privy to this, we're recording this on Indigenous Peoples Day, which is known by some as a different day. But for me, it was a floating holiday, and I decided not to take it. So I was at work, and a lot of other people weren't at work. So trying to get stuff done. So I got a lot of stuff done, but stuff that I needed other people to do something for me on, it didn't work as well.
Yeah. I am at work too because as a freelancer, I don't have the privilege of paid holidays.
Yeah,
regardless
which is too
of
bad.
What you call
but
it.
You can also, technically take off any day that you want. You just aren't getting paid for it.
Well, yeah, exactly. And as long as I have not already agreed to do something, I can't just tomorrow I have got a crap load of stuff to do. I can't just wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, I'm not coming in today."
Well, you could, but there would be repercussions.
There would be repercussions. I do, however, tomorrow I have to try to find some time to maybe go to the dentist. I'm between dentists right now. My dentist, the guy I'd been going to for over 30 years down in my hometown in Olympia, Washington, retired.
Oh no.
And I'd always ever since I moved up to Seattle at the age of 18, I'd always gone back down to Olympia to go to Dr. Matt because he was my dentist. And
you get used to one person putting their fingers in your mouth, and then you want to kind of keep it going.
I liked Dr. Matt. I don't want to say I enjoyed going to the dentist, but it wasn't like a completely miserable experience. But I always told myself
can be exploitative. So if you find one that you like, it's good to stick with.
I did not feel that there was unnecessary work was being done.
Exactly.
But I always told myself when Dr. Matt retired, I would not go down to Olympia. I would find one in Seattle. Well, in July, Dr. Matt retired. And I had been dragging my feet on finding a new dentist. And I got a recommendation from him. I emailed, Dr. Matt's office, and I was like, hey, Dr. Matt at one point told me that if I wanted to move dentists up to Seattle, then he would recommend somebody. So I emailed him. I got this recommendation, but I haven't called the new dentist.
Who is the dentist? The new dentist? Where are they at?
They're in Northgate. So
okay. The reason I mentioned it is because I went to Gentle Dental in Pike Place Market.
Okay.
And it was kind of cool going to a dentist in Pike Place Market. Because it's an area of Pike Place Market that a lot of people don't go into.
Yeah, down underneath the in the lower floors of the market.
You actually go up.
Oh,
it's weird. It's like the second floor. Although I don't know, Jennifer said that she didn't have the best experience with that. Oh, sorry, Gentle Dental. I don't.
Anyway, this new guy's in Northgate.
Northgate.
So my next scheduled cleaning was in December. So I'm like, whatever. I got some time. And over the weekend, I had a tooth break.
Oh no.
And I was in.
And this isn't a fun time where you can spend time with your tooth and just get to know each other. This is a physical problem that happened.
Blair and I were in Port Townsend, and
Jeez.
And in our Airbnb was outside of town. I had no cell service whatsoever, and it was Saturday afternoon, and I'm eating like a Trader Joe's Sour Patch Kids, they're not Sour Patch Kids, but it's like Trader Joe's brand, sour gummy, and I feel something weird, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I got like a piece of candy stuck in my teeth, so I get some tooth floss, and I pop out a little white piece of tooth.
Oh no!
And I'm like, Yeah, I just broke a tooth. It didn't hurt. Um,
Now, I
and
have a question for you. Are you aware of all the fillings that you have?
yes, and in fact, it was in a tooth that was my very first filling because it is the only filling I have that is silver. All the other ones are white.
The
And
reason that I ask is because this happened to me before. When you have fillings for a long time, the tooth part around the filling eventually can get
yeah,
like corroded enough, and
well,
then that's when you need crowns.
that's one of the things that my dentist was telling me. He said, fillings don't last your lifetime, and so fillings that you get when you're a kid, they need to be replaced. And
Yep.
I thought, silly me, I thought it meant, well, one day the filling's just going to pop out and I'll have to go to the dentist and then they'll just fill it back in. But no, it breaks a goddamn tooth. And,
Sometimes what you're talking about does actually happen. They can,
well, anyway, the
yeah.
thing is, the last time I went to the dentist, which was I think in like April or something, my dentist told me I had a crack in a tooth that was going to need a crown someday.
Oh,
And that is not the tooth that broke.
oh no,
So I've
oh
got
no.
I've got a ticking time bomb over here, but on this side I have a broken tooth.
There's
So
a ticking time bomb, but then there's also a IED that happened.
anyway, and also I've been dragging my feet, and I wish I hadn't, on getting different dental insurance because my dental insurance was crap and
Oh
only
no.
covered basically preventative maintenance, like not fillings, just like cleaning visits,
Yeah.
X-rays, that kind of fun stuff. It didn't cover things I'm going to start needing, like crowns or root canals,
Ooh,
or
yeah. Crowns can
so
be very expensive too.
so I thought, okay, one of these days I'll just sign up for new insurance. Well, I'm gonna probably need a crown over here, and I'm gonna have the privilege of paying for it if I can get
How
a
long does it
hold of this new dentist in Northgate.
how long does it take you to get new insurance?
I already signed up for a new plan, but it doesn't start until the beginning of the month, so
Okay. Can
November
you
1st.
wait with a broken tooth until the beginning of the month?
I don't want to. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I
Does
I
it
mean,
hurt? So it
it
hurts?
does not hurt, but I have to be extremely careful when I eat. And actually, it did hurt. I tried like the night it broke. I brushed my teeth, and I was still being gentle, and I still could feel it, like a
Okay.
bristle got up there. So I'm trying to keep it clean. I don't want to get like an infected abscess in my
They have
gums.
they have stuff that they sell. I actually have some upstairs, but that's not going to do you any good. Um, temporary tooth repair stuff. Because when they put your crown on, they're gonna sand off a bunch of your tooth.
Yeah.
So the temporary tooth repair stuff, it's sort of just like glue that goes on the break in your tooth.
I don't know. I'd rather have a professional look at it and say, well, you can wait a month, or we need to fix this immediately. What I
Yeah,
don't want to have happen is this tooth breaking as well, and now I have broken teeth on both sides of my mouth.
yeah, that would suck. Yes, I agree. I agree.
That's
I'm
that's
just
when I
I
start
sorry, just
my juice diet.
my poor instincts kicked in, and I'm like, well, you got to wait until you got the thing, and it's gonna hurt. But hey, what else? I mentioned this before. I always mention this whenever this thing comes up. My dad, my adopted dad, George, uh, waiting waiting to go to his regular doctor instead of the emergency room when he uh cut his either his leg or his arm on barbed wire,
Yeah.
rusty barbed wire.
Oh yeah. That's bad. That's a bad sign.
And I talked to him about it, and he said that he was measuring the red line that was going from the wound to his heart, and that he estimated that he could make it to the doctor before that happened. And I was like, go to the emergency room. He didn't, but he's fine. He's
This was
80. He,
recent.
well, this happened, I don't know, like maybe sometime within the last 16 years. Uh,
Okay.
Jennifer and I just had our 16th anniversary over the weekend, and it was on the 9th, October 9th. we found out because my mom, stepmom, Mary, texted us and wished us a happy anniversary. And I was like, oh, and
Oh,
Jennifer's
right.
like, oh, okay. But anyway, Jennifer and I were married at the time, and she was like, your dad is crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I know. He's now
Yeah.
80 and he painted an entire barn.
You know,
So,
some people just still have it in them at that age.
yep, I don't have it in me now. That's the
Is that
thing.
why you didn't help your 80-year-old father paint the barn?
He didn't tell me about it. He just painted it. Actually, I'm
Did
sure he told me at one point. I helped him. I helped him with the barn. I didn't help him paint it, but I helped like clear out the barn and help him put new posts in and all sorts of stuff. It's where all of my photographs of me with short hair and a mustache and a trucker cap came from, where I looked just like a normal Midwest dude.
Yeah, this is when you were a kid still living at home?
No, this was just recently.
Oh, really? Oh, I haven't
Yeah.
seen any of these pictures where you look like a normal Midwestern truck dude.
Yeah. I'll share them with you, and then you can put one in the show notes if wanted.
Sure. I
Oh
guess
man,
this is what I get from not being on Instagram or TikTok.
this was rude, by the way. I posted a TikTok about how I have a mustache now. My mustache has come in, and this guy wrote in, Ron Jeremy and Art Garfunkel had a kid, and I'm like, no way. And now I can't unsee it. I'm like, thank you. Yeah, that's great. So,
Well, I would not have thought of that, but now that you mention it.
isn't that the thing? Is that it took this guy to mention it, and then now I can't. Like I said, now I can't unsee it.
Oh well.
But
What are you gonna do?
Jennifer pointed out that I when I have the mustache and am wearing a bathrobe around the house, it really is 70 porn star vibes. So it might just be
You hear
that
the waka waka guitar just every time.
Oh, also, by the way, I didn't advertise the podcast this time.
Well, neither did I, but that's okay because I only sent you the link like at Showtime.
Yeah, and the other thing was I am I gun shy now? Do I want to make it so that no one can find it? Maybe not. Maybe
you
not,
can't see the feed, but I have not put the phone number or the email address up on the screen.
Good. Although if you know us and you want to call the number, I think we're deep enough in the podcast that we can mention the number. And that's the thing that we've got going for us. No one's going to have the attention span to listen to the entire podcast, I figure.
Not even me. Yeah, it's a B10 lung lag.
B10
Figure it out, trolls.
Lung lag. That's right. And it's funny too because people will say you should say a 0 if it's a phone number, not an O. Oh no, we know what we're saying.
Yeah,
we understand what we're saying. Oh man. So I've been eating candy again. My favorite candies right now, Ben, Red Hots, Boston baked beans, and are you unfamiliar with them or you don't like them?
I don't like them. I appreciate me some Red Hots, but Boston baked beans are candies from the 70s and 80s that I never really enjoyed.
Yeah, I never really liked them either, and now I love them. I
didn't even know they still made them.
And then, of course, the old standby, Nerds.
Nerds
are good. I like Nerds. So let's see what else is going on. Not a lot, right? I mean, we've got people trying to overthrow the government, probably. I still have this feeling, Ben. I'm going to say it again. at some point in time, I don't know what it's going to look like, but someone's going to show up. They're going to be able to get not necessarily the farthest of the far right, but some of the far right and some of the far left, and then a bunch of people who nobody even knows about, like how a whole bunch of people don't vote, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's going to be some charismatic person that brings them together, and all of a sudden we're going to be fighting. We're going to have 3 viable parties. I think it's going to happen. 3 viable parties.
Who knows, man? I mean, there's just like
the crazy MF party versus the combined Republican and Democrat party. But that would be crazy.
And of course, the crazy MF party is, they're gonna have a mashup of Prince songs as their theme.
Here's the thing: if Prince were alive and actually ran for president, I think Prince could have won.
He had some eccentricities, from what I understand.
Oh yeah, and let's just be clear: eccentricities don't necessarily disqualify someone from public office as much as one would used to think that they do. Is what I'll say. All of a sudden, all of that's out the window. This is the thing I feel just deep in my bones that the last president, Ben, was a proof of concept that you wouldn't necessarily be disqualified from being president.
A proof of concept that seems to have ignited the base. There are a number of people who are saying they don't see the Republican Party without that particular person.
Yeah, which is a little crazy, in my opinion. Because
I've seen a couple. I mean, I've seen some think pieces. One was like, "There's no way he can win, let alone run in 2024," and other pieces that say it's possible that he can be president again. I just don't understand how, of all of the things that we were told that he did that were illegal, how is it possible that he's allowed to run again? Well, because he's got the minority party that will make it happen.
Well, and that's the thing, though. I'll still go on record for what I think, which may not be true, but I think that he doesn't want to be president again. Because if he's president again, he can only be president for another 4 years, or something like has to happen where democracy is gone.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
one could say it's already happened, but I don't.
I mean, they try to do that. I saw, all of these bombshell books keep coming out about the presidency, and you're like, where was this courage? Where was this transparency when all this stuff was going down? But one of the things that came out, I think it was in like the not press secretary, but Stephanie Grisham's new book about the a lot of revelations are coming out in that book, and one of the ones was that that the former president wanted to be president for life. He like Putin, he wanted to be like, he wanted to stay in office as long as possible. I don't think it's because he enjoyed the job. I think it was because it enriched him.
Yes. Well, and this is what I'm saying is I think that he could get a lot of juice, a lot of serotonin, however you want to, he could feel really good by not running for president, but saying, you know what, I think I might run, and everyone's like, yay, that thing. Hearing people tell him that he was such a good president, it would be him not being president allows him to be a really good president.
It's that constant
to the people that he's not. Yeah,
the need for adoration.
Yeah, I mean, if Twitter were still around for him,
well, okay,
because I don't think it is. I think he's still banned. I'm not positive.
You're right.
But just the juice that he would get by saying, just tweeting something like, I'm still the president, and everyone like retweeting and going, yay, and yeah, you're
And people
like
talk
that.
about it on the nightly news, and it's a
And he doesn't have to do anything
yeah.
actually statesmanlike. I think that he would like it.
Yep. What if
This is
it
what I
turns
do.
out? What if it turns out that Biden's the last like normal president we ever have?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't like Biden still. And when I say a
But
lot of
he
people, I mean people that I get along with.
he is a politician, and he's been in government for most of his life, and so I'm considering him a normal president.
Right.
Like he's a person who would, who he's an old white dude, basically is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And that's
Is
the thing, is that for a lot of folks on the left, which is where my circles normally are,
yeah.
um the fact that he's an old white dude with a voting record that isn't great. I mean, the whole thing
Right.
with him and India Hill also,
Yeah.
yeah, they have never liked him. And so they're not going to be in the tank for him.
Right. Well,
And
he's already said he's not gonna probably not gonna run for a second term.
yeah, but I will say this, given what happened, the storming of the Capitol and all that,
Yeah.
I think that people who know more about politics than me made that choice, and that choice lent itself to stability. More stability. Like, I don't think that would have stopped where it did if there was somebody else that was president at the time. Like if Bernie Sanders was going to be president, right? If he was, because at that time wasn't Biden already elected? Like we knew that Biden was going to be the president at that point.
Yeah. The reason they stormed the Capitol was to stop the certification vote in Congress.
Yeah, like I said, I think if it had been Sanders, for example, they would have had more people. More people would have shown up. I don't know that that's true. I
think Biden
am
being a
concerned about it.
moderate sort of like kept the moderates away from the storming of the castle.
Yeah, kept some of the people out of the van pool that was driving up there or whatever. But I don't know for sure.
Crazy times, man. Crazy times.
Crazy times. 2024 is the next one.
There's a midterm election next year though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a question. Because normally what happens in the midterms, as we've sat through it before, and this is the thing that I always think about when we talk about this stuff, when we say, well, this is what happened before, does it matter what we do?
Like you and me?
Someone could lie about what the results are, and most people would probably believe it if it falls into this story, right?
Yeah.
The story is that, the new president comes in, everyone gets disillusioned with their party, and it goes to the other group. And so if there's a big Republican sweep, we're going to be like, oh, well, that's probably what happens. Even if that wasn't what really happened, we'd still
right
go along with it.
And there's a lot going on to make sure that happens.
And we're the Electoral College. We're the Electoral College. That's not what I meant. I meant the United States has an Electoral College. So even if all the people get together and vote for something, there's a chance that it won't happen. So.
Yay, our system is broken.
Yay, it's great.
It's stupid to begin with.
King Edward. Look at him. I'd vote for this guy.
What's his platform?
He's on my leg right now. Hey. But as you know, only in the Star Wars universe is queen an elected position. So it's very odd. Oh, speaking about which, this is going to sound really, really dumb, and I apologize ahead of time. The United States of America declared independence from Great Britain. Did Great Britain ever officially recognize? They must have, in a treaty or in some sort of a thing, officially recognize our independence. When Cornwallis surrendered to George Washington, that must have done it. The reason I mentioned it is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't remember that specific part, but I'm pretty sure it was like, let him have it.
Yeah. Well, someone did a joke talking about our problem with the debt ceiling, which, by the way, I believe, just for those of you who listen to our podcast for historical news, I believe that it has now been raised temporarily until December, and then it's going to go. We're going to have more questions about it. But the basic thing that I was going to say is that somebody did a thing about there being, the United States is in so much debt. And then they said, what are they going to do? Move back in with their parents? And then it cuts to the United States at the dinner table with Great Britain as the father figure, talking to America about how disappointed they are that, their little experiment with democracy didn't turn out that well, but now that they're back home. It was just a phase. Yeah, exactly. I will say, and this is, this is me speaking about when I was a kid. This is before I joined the armed forces, any of that kind of stuff. But for a while, I thought that being like, if the United States were to be part of Great Britain again, that it would be cool. And part of the reason is I, for some reason, thought that we would just get the accent. Like, we'd be able to talk like British people at that point.
You can do that regardless. You are free to adopt. That's what's great about being American. You are free to adopt a stupid accent.
Hey, it's me. I'm talking now. It's not good. Not good. There are too many people that would get mad at me.
I saw this thing last night about the MidAtlantic accent, or the transatlantic accent.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Ben, what do you call that over there, pal? Hey.
Yeah, and why nobody speaks with it these days, when that sort of ended, and what it was all about. And it was, what I didn't realize it was that, it was the accent of high class, right? High society, and it was taught in schools. It wasn't like, mom and dad spoke like this, and you need to speak like this too if you want to be part of my family.
Hey, Ben, you know what? Now that I think about it, I might have to try to learn. Oh, God, I can't even. I stumbled so bad. But no, seriously, that would be kind of fun.
Go get me a glass of water.
Mid-Atlantic accent is my base accent, and then I build everything else off of that. Yes.
Perhaps we should. You and I, Paul, will do one show with the Mid-Atlantic accent and see how many people show up.
Jennifer to make sure that I can talk like that, because I don't think I'm going to be able to do see.
It's hard.
End up killing me, Ben. She'll end up killing me.
She's going to murder you. Say murder you.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. Hey, maybe that's how I talk to this. Oh, look at this guy. This guy.
Go down to the wharf, they said. Find a bottle of beer, they said. Oh, I listened to them too much.
Hey, wait a second. Did we have to learn that when we went to the front page? I didn't.
I
know for sure that I did.
I didn't either. I don't think anybody did. If Ed wanted us to learn it, he didn't force it very hard.
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to Jennifer, see if I can do that. Boy, I tell you what, the one person who gets mad whenever I talk with any sort of differences for how I normally talk is Betty. She does not like it. Hates it when I change up my accents.
Really? Like, gets mad at you.
Yep. Hey, how much time do we have on the old clockaroonie there?
Clock on the wall says we got 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Too soon. Too soon for calling a kid down here, that's for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that Betty has had enough with us.
I don't know. I mean, a couple of times that I've been yelling for her, and I go, well, I guess she's not coming down. It's because she actually
time.
Just isn't here.
Yeah.
Often in band is the big thing. Oh, hey, let's talk about this. Dune, Ben. You remember Dune?
How you Dune?
Hey, whoa, hold on there.
No, that was an image I saw. Somebody photoshopped a picture of Joey from Friends.
Yeah.
Called it How You Dune.
I gotta say, the logo for Dune is pretty great. How it's just the line and then the line and the line and the line.
Very minimalist.
Whoever came up with that really made their money in the advertising department. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. No, it's called minimalism. It's not called I didn't have time to do it.
Ben, hey, hold on. I'm seeing a trend here where we could actually combine the Mid-Atlantic accent and the Norm Macdonald accent into sort of, hey, wait a second. Yeah, what's that guy doing over there? And it kind of works for me. All right. So anyway, but I watched some of the David Lynch Dune.
It's just something. Well, it is like a 5-hour movie.
Oh, it's 2 hours and like no the theatrical cut.
It is a 5-hour movie if you watch it and then immediately watch it again.
No, there is a longer version for TV, but David Lynch had his name taken off of it.
On the TV version, that's usually, okay, that makes sense because the directors generally don't have any say in the cut downs that go for TV.
He put the director's name on that one. He had them put down Judas Booth for Judas Iscariot and John Wilkes Booth. That was his idea of.
It wasn't. He didn't want to go the Alan Smithy route.
That is exactly right. He did not like it so much that he put that in as Judas Booth. But anyway, I was watching it, and it's actually, I really like it. It's really good.
I haven't seen that since junior high. I have no idea. Does it hold up?
I think so.
I mean, I know like Kyle MacLachlan's in it. Sting is in it. Patrick Stewart,
Patrick Stewart is in it. Yep. Patrick Stewart was the same age then as he is now, pretty much. It's crazy.
I know. He's looked the same for 40 years.
45 forever, basically.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I feel like in some ways, I mean, I'm biased, of course, but I'm almost 50. I don't think I necessarily look almost 50. But then again, how old are Ron Jeremy and Art Garfunkel? I ask you.
Probably Ron Jeremy's in jail right now, I think.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he got pegged. He got nailed for harassment. Because when you're Ron Jeremy, apparently you think you can do anything to anybody.
Yeah, geez. Oh,
and
man.
So, yeah, dude's had a lot of legal trouble lately.
I have to say that harassment in the porn industry has got to be horrible, because even in a normal job, the evidence, getting the proof of the thing and all that, and all the little nuances and all that, it's got to be 10 times worse.
Yeah. Well, and also it wasn't, I mean, I think the people who were accusing him of harassment were not performers.
Okay.
I mean, it was still around the porn industry or maybe PR firms. It's just based on this one brief article I read weeks ago. But yeah, he apparently would take certain liberties with women and not without their consent. And so because when you're Ron Jeremy, you can do anything.
Yeah, well, Well, he learned different, didn't he? Yes.
It's a different
And
time.
good on the people who did it. Because yeah, that kind of stuff, no good.
So has Art Garfunkel in any sort of legal trouble?
Geez,
Right
I
now?
hope not. Who knows though? I mean, it's possible. Oh, hey, good. Evan is going to be able to look after the cat, which is great.
Are you taking the dog?
Yeah, I'm taking Edward. Edward, I have a little letter that says that he is my emotional support animal. Although sometimes I feel like I'm his emotional support animal, you know what I mean?
Who saved who?
Hey, Betty! We'll see what happens. And what time are we at, by the way?
We have 14 minutes.
Look at Edward's derp fang. You can't see it probably.
I can't see it. Even on the big screen I have over here, I can't see it.
Okay, I'm gonna show it to Betty. Anyway. He has a little fang that you can see on the corner of his mouth, which Betty calls the derp fang.
The derp fang. I thought you called it the dirt fang, like he was like rooting around like a little piggy.
No, oh my goodness, though. He would maybe do it. He likes, as we've mentioned before, he likes rolling in stinky plants. That's his big thing. Hey, Betty, look at Edward's derp fang. Do you see it?
No.
Oh, he closed it. He closed his mouth.
Aww.
Yeah. Hey, so here's the headphones.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I feel brain dead.
Yeah, well.
He's addicted to caffeine.
No, I am not. I just feel brain dead because I've been laying around all day.
Well, maybe you should have some coffee then.
No, shut up. Shut up. I am not.
Look at this aggressive behavior. Can you tell?
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
audience, I am not addicted to caffeine. It is a lie. It is a hoax.
Fake news.
Like energy drinks. I am not addicted to caffeine.
I am. I love it. I have to have it every morning.
Darn.
That's all right. It's just when the world supply of coffee ends, then I'll be sad.
Yeah. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say most people in the workforce of the United States of America have some form of caffeine addiction.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
That's
Yep. We can't all be special, Betty.
So what happens when they demand that you get to work on time in the morning?
Okay, I'm gonna go back to doing nothing.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
Have a good one. I mean, it was really tough for me giving caffeine up.
What made you do it?
What's that?
What made you give caffeine up?
It was a recommendation from a psychologist. That some of my ADHD quote unquote symptoms might actually be just the fact that I'm drinking so much caffeine.
Yeah. And your drink of choice was like Red Bull or
Diet Rockstar, like, Ben.
Diet Rockstar. Okay.
You remember that? The big white can?
Oh yeah. I you know what? I tried a Red Bull once. I didn't care for it. I don't know if I've ever had Rockstar or Diet Rockstar for that matter.
They're not good. Monster's a lot, like Betty gave me a sip of one of her Monsters and they're a lot better. Like,
yeah.
With the other ones, they weren't really trying, I guess is what I would say.
When I was Betty's age, my energy drink of choice was actually soda pop.
Yeah. I drank a lot of Diet Dr. Pepper. Eventually, and Diet Coke. There was always, here's the thing, and I think we've talked about this, but let's talk about it again. Growing up in the Midwest, I hardly ever drank water.
Yeah.
It was just something that I didn't do. I drank orange juice, milk, or Diet Coke. That was what we had pretty much at our house. And then when it came time to go to, like your fast food restaurants, you get your fountain sodas there. The one time that I would drink water would be in restaurants.
Yeah, because it's
And
just
even
on the
then,
table.
yeah, and even then I wouldn't really drink it that often. And then again, at my grandmother's house, she had a crystal decanter that she would fill up with water and keep in the refrigerator.
A crystal one. Wow.
Yeah, and the water was so cold. It was so good. Water at grandma's house was nice.
I have a crystal decanter in my apartment, but it's got bourbon in it. But I was like you. I very rarely ever drank water when I was a kid, even like well into adulthood. Like, and I'm not saying kids in college are adults, but even like after college, I would still just drink soda. It took me a long time to not drink Coke every day. Now, if I have it, it's like a special treat. But I would drink a 6-pack of Coke a day, and my dentist, my old dentist, was, happy that I gave up the sugary drinks. But, yeah, it wasn't even until, like, maybe 10 years ago when I started doing that I don't want to call it old person thing. To me, it felt like an old person thing. Making sure there was a glass of water by the bed.
Oh, yeah. See, I can't do that because the cat knocks him over.
I have knocked it over in my sleep before, but because my arms get sometimes they fall. My arms don't wake up when I do, and if I try to reach for a glass of water, I'll just knock it over. But now I can't imagine going without. It feels weird if I go to bed without a glass of water on the bed table.
Oh yeah, I mean it's weird for me, as you know. Because I've talked about it on here a lot. I have to pee before I go to bed, always.
Yeah.
Like and if I do it and then somebody talks to me, I kind of have to go back and do it again. and the reason is because when I was a kid, I was on the second floor of the house. Bathroom was on the first floor. And if I would get up in the middle of the night and use the bathroom, my parents would sometimes get mad at me because I'd wake them up.
Yeah.
And so I would, and then the other thing was I didn't like to just get up and walk around either. I wanted to stay in. So I would do that, and I wouldn't drink any water or anything like that. And so every morning I would be dehydrated.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Well, not fully dehydrated, not like probably the medical definition of.
No, but you definitely, yeah. You needed to have some water.
Exactly.
Some liquids.
So, bears and hibernation. It turns out that bears, when they hibernate, they're not just sleeping. They actually like slow their heart rate and breathing way, 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 way down, which is a little crazy, but it makes sense. They're not eating and stuff like that.
A couple weeks ago was the National Park Service's Fat Bear Week. Are you familiar with Fat Bear Week?
No, tell me about Fat Bear Week.
Fat Bear Week. So bears are plumping up right now to get ready for hibernation. And so I think it's the Park Service. It might be some sort of other organization like the WWF. But anyway, so there are trail cams where bears are, Yeah. And so bears have names, and there are pictures of these fat bears, and the fattest bear, you vote for your favorite fat bear, and I guess there's a winner. I don't know.
Nice.
But it's Fat Bear Week, and it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. Steven actually mentioned it on the chat a couple weeks ago, but I never brought it up.
Oh, well, the other thing is that, and I'm sure if Steven were here, is Steven watching? No, probably
No,
not.
because nobody told we didn't tell anybody we were doing this almost a week early.
Haha, it's the secret show, everybody.
This is
He could probably talk about this. There's a libertarian township that got overrun by bears because um it was a very interesting exercise because there are things that are just sort of in place by rules and regulations and stuff like that
Yeah.
when communities have been formed and all that kind of take care of bear things, like making sure that your garbage is in bear-proof cans.
yeah.
They got rid of that.
They deregulated all the bear rules. I love it.
Exactly, and then the bears kind of overran the thing. There's that. There's the other thing about, it's weird that bears stopped being called by their names and got named euphemisms such as the one who licks and stuff like that. And the reason is because there was a belief in that area at the time when this big shift happened, that if you said the bear's name out loud, it could call the bear. Like the bear would show up. So they started using euphemisms for bears instead of
So,
their
like, the
actual
bears
names.
had actual bear names, and they made up these other bear nicknames.
Well, like there's another name for bear, right? So
Ursa.
so let's say, or it was actually Arctic. It was related to Arctic because Arctic meant where there
Bear
were
and
bears.
Antarctic means no bears.
Antarctic means not Arctic, which is not exactly the same, but not the place where bears live.
Yeah.
I guess. But the big thing is that Arctic, that root that meant bear stopped being used, and they started using euphemisms instead because of that, which is kind of cool.
Beliefs, man.
Oh, speaking of
All over
beliefs,
the place.
did you see Midnight Mass?
No, I haven't
on
seen it, but it
Netflix?
has come highly recommended to me, though.
I really liked it, and
I'm-
if I can do just one shout out, Ben, that I was raised by a Lutheran minister.
I do know
Went
that.
through the whole Missouri Synod Lutheran pipeline from parochial grade school to disaffected public school high school student who
Yeah,
didn't want to go to church anymore. That's kind of how that goes, unless you actually start coming. But the main thing that was kind of cool is that I watched Midnight Mass, and the church parts, the parts where they're actually doing church stuff, was really good. And sometimes
Like, faithful and
parts,
true to form.
exactly, yeah, like if you had been to now, granted this was Catholic, but there's some crossover between Catholic and Lutheran. And if you've been to churches before, you're like, okay, yeah, they got this is pretty good. And somebody pointed out, and I would agree, that it's better in Midnight Mass than it is in some things that actual churches put out.
Because
If that
actual
makes
churches
sense.
wants to make it seem better,
I guess, but
to
I mean,
encourage people to show up.
The good parts of church, like
Like the community and the eating and all that.
right, they did a good job setting that stuff up.
I've been I was trying to search for a new show. I watched the first episode of Atlanta. I'll continue it. And
Atlanta's
another
good,
show.
yeah.
But I've started watching Only Murders in the Building. Have you seen this? The Steve
No,
Martin,
I haven't, but
Martin
I
Short
know what is it. Martin Short and Steve Martin.
Steve Martin and Selena Gomez. A bunch of like cameos too. Sting was in an episode I just watched. It's pretty good. Speaking of people who've looked the same for 40 years, Steve Martin.
Oh yeah. Well, honestly, Martin Short is pretty spry for his age.
Yeah,
as well.
he is. I mean, they're both like in their 70s. I mean, Martin Short doesn't look like he's in his 70s, but he definitely has a bit more age in his face than Steve Martin does.
Short in the Three Amigos?
Yes, he was. That's where Steve Martin and Martin Short became friends, was on that film.
Yeah, who was the other? Oh, that's why. I was like,
Chevy Chase.
I was like, why isn't that guy doing stuff with anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Hasn't done anything illegal. He's just a big jerk, from what I understand.
Huh? Nothing illegal? I find that hard to believe.
Well, he's not. He's no Ron Jeremy. That's all I'm saying.
Oh well. Sorry. Everything I thought of to say on that, not good. We are a good podcast. We're nice boys, Ben.
And we have reached the end here. Maybe afterwards you'll tell me what the terrible things were. But until then...
Ben, I believe you're asking me to keep it wrong.
I am asking you to keep it wrong, sir, and I'll see you next week.
I ask you the same thing. And see you next week. Ha ha. I did it.
Alrighty.